Hello everyone, my name is Jason Bjorklund of the Iowa Golf Association, and I want to welcome you to another tutorial video on the GHP Handicap Program online version. Specifically, in today's segment, we're going to be talking about GHP Online Clubs, which is the management side of the program. There are two tabs that you'll see in there once we load the program in just a moment: My Golfers and All Golfers. We're going to spend a little time on each of them, show you how to use some search tools when searching for golfers on your roster, adding golfers, editing golfer info, how to activate and inactivate golfers, and then on the All Golfers, a few of the search tools in there as well. So if you viewed earlier videos, you'll recall that I have set up a shortcut to open up my test club directly from my desktop. It opens up with the web address ghpse.gin.com, and it is in Firefox, as you can see there. That's the highly recommended browser of choice for this program. And it opens up to the public side: member score posting, guest posting, handicap lookup. We know we've covered this in earlier videos, we want to get into the management side now, so I need to click on the GHN logo, which takes us to what I call page 2. And click on Log into GHP Online Clubs. Page 2 is password protected for all the functions that you select there, so I need to enter the password associated with my GHN Handicap program. I see my club there. Down here bottom right, click Go to GHP Online Clubs, and this opens up a new window within my browser. As you can see at the top right now, I have two windows open. I can move over here and get back to the public side and switch between the two browsers, or the two windows within the browsers. Our home screen for the GHP Online Clubs looks like this. If you're familiar with the software, you remember the old green buttons on the left. Well, this screen takes the place of that. Our headers run across the top. You can see the authorized services that this club has. For my test club, men's 18, women's 18, and women's 9-hole. First, going to move into the My Golfers tab at the top left and select Club Roster. Here we have a golfer lookup window at the top. Right now it defaults to Services All, Status All, so you can see that that's returned a total of 68 golfers to my test club, 45 of them being active and 23 being inactive. I could search for a particular GHN number, a last name. I could search for just those in my men's service. However I want to set these search parameters up, and then click the search button. That'll give me a new detailed result. Also, one thing to note down here at the bottom, there is an items per page, and you can change that from 100 to 250 to 500. So clubs that have a lot of golfers on them might want to change it to 500, so it's all on the same page rather than flipping through multiple pages. For our purposes, 100 is fine because they all do fit on this one page. You have some other searching capabilities, including handicap index range. So maybe I want to see everybody from a 0.0 to a 9.9, and I'll take everybody, all services, but I just need the active golfers. So active golfers who have a handicap index range from 0.0 to 9.9, we click search, and I have quite a few in my test club, 23 of them, 23 active golfers. So one other feature on searches is the wildcard feature. This is probably a little more useful on the All Golfer side, which we'll get to in a moment, but it allows us to put in certain letters without knowing the exact spelling of something. So I know I have a golfer here, as I look down there, that's name is, we'll use Tiger Woods for example. I could go ahead and put in W-O-O. I can stop there and put the wildcard symbol immediately following of the percentage sign. And I'm going to take away my search values. That's the only thing I want in there is my last name search. So I'm searching for all golfers, all services, all status. But the parameters are that the last name starts with these 3 letters. And I'll get the one golfer in that search there. So if I would have taken away that wildcard and done a search, I'd get 0 search results because it's looking for an exact match without that wildcard. but the wild card says it doesn't have to be a complete name, it just has to start with those 3 letters there. And like I said, that wild card will come in handy on the All Golfers side of things in just a moment. Back to the home. Now into My Golfers again, back into the roster. And we're going to talk about editing a golfer's info of a golfer that's already established on your roster. So I'm going to go ahead and just select the first golfer on my list, Dr. Carl. And it brings up a golfer maintenance screen. And Dr. Carl already has an address, city, state, and an email in there. But we can go ahead and update any info if he happens to move. He moved from Oak Street to Main Street. And no longer in West Des Moines. We'll say he's in Urbandale. I can go ahead and click Save. That updates my records for him in my golfer maintenance windows. I can take it a step further and go up to the top here and click on score maintenance within this golfer's account, and I can see his score history right here. There's a row over here where I can edit any score or delete the scores. He may come to you and say, I accidentally posted a wrong score, maybe it had the wrong date. You can edit it or you can delete it and tell him, I've cleared that out, go ahead and repost the score now. So you can do that by finding the golfer within your roster and then clicking golfer score maintenance. We even have a score filter up here to where I could look for a certain score posted or played within a certain range here, certain days of the week, total number of scores to return. Once you get those fields set the way you like them, go ahead and click search, and you can find the list of scores that meet the parameters you're looking for. Back to My Golfers, and in the club roster again. And now we're going to talk about adding a golfer. So highlighting over My Golfers, the third option down is Add a Golfer. And we see at the very top here, to add a golfer with an existing GHIN number, please use Golfer Public View, and it's a link. So let's click on that. This is used when a golfer comes to you and says, I've had a GHIN number established at a different club. I want to obviously resume that number and keep going. You type the golfer's number in and proceed down the line of still putting in their number, or excuse me, their name, and assigning them to the service, handicap service of choice at your club. I'm going to cancel that, go back to Add a Golfer, and for our purposes here, we're going to just leave that alone because we're going to add a golfer who's never had a GHIN number in the past. This time I'm going to choose the women's 18-hole service to put this golfer in. It defaults to a regular type member for R. We also have a junior type. It's going to be one of these two, and if the golfer is 18 years or older, go ahead and select R for regular. If they are 17 or younger, go ahead and select J for junior. Next, we'll go ahead and put in the golfer's name. I'm going to skip the address, city, state, and zip for now. I can always come back in and put that in later. We do recommend that you get the golfer's email. This will send the golfer a personalized handicap update on the revision days on the 1st and the 15th of each month. So I'll put her email in there. Now because she's a junior here, I not only need to put the type J, which I've done up here, I do need to put in the golfer's correct birth date as well. I'll put in November 1st of 2000. I'll go ahead and say Add a Golfer. Now because I have the golfer with the correct birth date and a type of a junior, I don't need to concern myself of each spring going through my junior golfers and switching those that have turned 18 over to regular. The birth date field will allow it to turn over to a regular member when it's appropriate to do so. So we can see that the golfer maintenance window is opened up here now, and Sarah's been assigned a GHIN number, so we can tell her number, and she's ready to start posting scores and establish a handicap. I'm going to go ahead and click Home, take us back to the top, and we're going to move on to discussing how to activate and inactivate golfers on your roster. Again, under the My Golfers column, we can go ahead, move our mouse down to Change Golfer Statuses. This brings up a couple of drop-down menus. I'm going to leave it at All Services and All Status and go ahead and click Search. This will just show all 67 golfers now on my test club. You can see the golfers who are inactive not only say no in the column for active, but they're also in red font, whereas the golfers who are active are in a black font. So I can go through here and I can click golfers, and I'm just clicking on a few golfers who are currently active, including Sarah, who we just added. So I've got 4 golfers selected who are currently active, and go back up to the top here. And if I wanted to inactivate them, simply click the Inactivate Selected Golfers. Once complete, this cannot be undone, is the warning, but don't worry, you can come right back and activate a golfer you inactivated or vice versa. We can do that quickly. I'll go ahead and say yes to this. It's going to progress through it, and those 4 golfers that I selected are now inactive, so we can see right there. I'll uncheck them. A couple other features here. At the very top, we could click this button that allows us to select everybody, and we could activate the selected ones, activating the entire roster. We could also, without checking anything here, for clubs that inactivate their entire roster in the spring, the day before the season starts on April 1st, and wants to slowly activate those as they come in and pay for their IGA membership number, we could inactivate the entire roster right here. So we have multiple ways to do that. If you're wanting to work with a particular roster, we could pare it down to just, I want to see the women's who are active. Go ahead and search that. I got 6 women who are active, and now I could say, well, Anne has not paid for her membership yet. The other 6 have. So that gets my list down a little more manageable before I want to say, Anne, you're going to be inactivated for now. And there we go. There's also the feature under My Golfers, the bottom option, Set Inactivation Dates. You can come in here, search for whatever service, whatever status you'd like. For now, I'll just choose the men's 18 status, all who are active, let's say. Search for that. Then I get my 33 golfers who are active on my men's 18-hole roster. I could come in here and I could select Carl, who is active right now, and I could choose the Set for Selected Golfers, and I could say that on March 1st I want Carl's status to turn to inactive. Set the date, and he's taken care of. While he's active right now, his auto status is inactivate, and the auto date is 3/1. So you can tell that while he's active now, on March 1st, he will go to inactive automatically. We've set that up for him. So you can use the Change Golfer Statuses to manually change golfers from active to inactive at any time. You can use the Inactivation Dates feature as well on the online version. I'm going to click Home. And the final thing we're going to talk about, we're going to move over to the All Golfers. My Golfers refers to the golfers who have a GHIN number at your club right now. My Golfers, or i.e. members. All Golfers is referring to all the golfers who have a GHIN number outside of your club. I recommend you use the Golfer Lookup function here, and we get the same type of filters that we did when we clicked on My Golfers club roster. If you're searching for someone, I would recommend you select the association drop down. For our example here, I'm going to choose the Kansas Golf Association. I'm going to look for all statuses. Here's where the wildcard feature really comes in handy. I'm going to choose last name of Smith, but first name starts with J and a wildcard. And I'm going to leave the rest of the fields open. So Kansas Golf Association, Smith, first name starting with J, we click a search. You can see that there are a total of 16 that match this request, and 6 of them happen to be active golfers. I can see the club that they're associated with. I can see their GHIN number. I can see if they're active or not, and I can see their handicap index, as well as a link to their score history. So you can think of this really come in helpful when you've got a member guest and you're searching for golfers and their handicap indexes, and you don't know their GHIN number. You can easily find stuff about them here by doing the search of all golfers, golfer lookup. One thing to keep in mind, I would leave the state blank. Remember, these are exact searches, so if you take away the wildcard feature and I put J in there, I'm not going to get any golfers because now it's looking for an exact match. And if the status, or the state, excuse me, is selected as Kansas, even though the golfer will exist with the state golf association, if that particular club, now we only got 12 golfers here, so 4 of those golfers, when you click on their info, the club didn't put in a state for them when we were entering the address of city and state, so they would not come up in a search. Therefore, in doing searches, I always recommend choose the association because they're going to be associated with a golf association, and then go ahead and do what you know about their last name, first name, and use that wildcard feature. Leave the state blank. You can use the email, but unless you know an exact email, you're going to be coming up empty on your search results. So those are my tips for golfer lookup there. You can play around with that and get a little more comfortable with that. That concludes this segment of the GHIN Handicap Program online version. As always, if you have any questions about the things we covered in this video, previous videos, feel free to contact the staff at any time. We're happy to help. Thanks for watching, and we hope you tune in to the future videos. Thanks a lot.